So all of a sudden, this guy shows up, and it brought back all sorts of bad memories. That was the first thing I thought when this dude showed up in The Monkey. The guy's name, the actor's name, is Rohan Campbell, or Rohan, whatever. He played Corey Cunningham in Halloween Ends, and he was in The Monkey. And I had this just instinctive, visceral, internal, oh no. And yeah, it didn't ruin the movie for me. This movie, directed by Osgood Perkins, The Monkey, was on my list of most anticipated. I did not hate it. It made up for the disappointment that was Longlegs, because I was unimpressed with Longlegs. That movie just did not work for me like I thought it would. This one did. I did not realize before going into it that, and this because I never saw the trailers, that this movie was, it was a horror comedy. There were several comedic moments in here. A lot of them occurred when there were situations of extreme death and destruction and body parts flying everywhere. Anyway, that's a bit of a tangent. I just didn't realize it was going to be comedy. I'm not disappointed. That was not an issue for me at all. I did have one main issue with this movie, and when I touch on it, I will try to avoid spoilers. So, The Monkey, directed by Osgood Perkins. He also has a bit role in here. It's an adaptation of a Stephen King short story. I don't remember if the name of the short story is The Monkey or if it's something else. Basically, the premise is there's these twin brothers. Their father has left the family unexpectedly, and they find this monkey, a drummer boy monkey or whatever, in their father's belongings. Their mother is played by Tatiana Maslany, if that's how you say her name, the chick from Orphan Black and She-Hulk. We will not speak of that. Well, I just did, but whatever. I actually like her acting for the most part. I really liked her in Orphan Black, and I thought she was good in here too. She has these little subtle or nuanced ways of expressing her emotion in her face, just little tiny things like motion of the eye or tilt of the head or whatever, and I thought she was good at conveying that in here. So anyway, after they discover this monkey, and these twin brothers have a contentious relationship. One of them is a complete asshole, terrible, terrible person to his sibling. And the other one's just kind of the kid that's bullied a lot in school, also by his brother. His brother's a bully. And they discover this monkey. And when they wind the key to the monkey, deaths start happening. So it's like this bad luck sort of device or whatever. There's no real rhyme or reason to the deaths that occur. So, they can never really predict, and it takes them a bit to piece together what's going on. And then things build to a certain point at the beginning during their childhood, and then we jump 25 years into the future. The monkey has made a reappearance and deaths start happening again. I like the premise of horror, whatever. I liked also that Theo James was in here. Now, my introduction to Theo James was way back when he was in a UK show called Bedlam. I'm pretty sure that was the name of it. I enjoyed it. I don't feel like it ever came to a resolution though, so anyway, whatever. I never forgot him in there. He was also more recently in the Netflix series The Gentleman, which is a spinoff of the Guy Ritchie Gentleman movie. The Gentleman series was really good. I enjoyed that as well. I have a review up for that on my channel. So anyway, he's in here playing twins, and I thought he was fine in here. I thought all of the actors were fine in here. Boy, when Corey Cunningham showed up, I was just instinctively annoyed. Yes, I am still carrying hostility about Halloween Ends onto the actor. It's not necessarily his fault, but it's like he just has this black cloud stigma over him because of how terrible Halloween Ends was. So yeah, the actor from, okay, so he's in this movie. He's in this movie and I see him and I'm like, oh no. Yeah, he's the character I had an issue with. Yeah. It's like he's a bad omen, y'all. I hesitate to watch anything that he's in. Okay, yes, the rational part of my brain understands it's not his fault. But here's the problem that I had with this movie. And yes, it revolves completely around his character. His character was a vehicle for getting things done. I had no problem with that up until a certain point, and then there's something that his character decides to do that is not given any logical explanation as to why he's doing it. And that, for me, was the biggest issue that I had with this movie. His actions moved the story forward as they had to. The problem was those particular actions, not the ones at the very, very beginning, but those particular actions that happen at some point after his character's introduced, they're not explained. They don't make sense. Why? To move the plot forward, and that was it. And so that, for me, is the biggest issue with The Monkey. Now, I know that this has been receiving equally solid reviews between the critics and the audience. I also enjoyed it, but I had been seeing little whiffs of displeasure here and there on social media from some of my YouTube buddies. I did not watch their reviews, so I do not know if their issue or issues are the same as mine. I will check those reviews out later. But as of now, the character that he plays, Ricky? His name is Ricky. It's kind of goofy and silly too, the way he played the character. And I know it's supposed to be comedic, but it was just kind of... it just didn't work for me. And maybe that's just my antagonism about Corey Cunningham and Halloween Ends. But right now, that's the big problem I have with this story. It is not enough to make me dislike it. I do not dislike it to the same, or I don't have as much of a problem with it as I did with Longlegs. I would prefer to watch this many times over as opposed to Longlegs. But maybe I will figure out the answer to my issues, and maybe it's just something I missed, because let me tell you, you guys in the theater, there was a row of kids, and I say kids because pretty much anyone younger than me is a kid, but they were probably like late teens or very early 20s. They would not shut up. They kept making noise. And at one point I just turned at them and I just like stared at them to see what in the world was all this noise. They were having conversations with each other and they were trying to be quiet, but it was still loud. Eventually they left. Thank goodness they left before the movie was over, but it's possible I missed something in all the distraction. So if I did miss something and my issue is fundamentally a non-issue, let me know if I did miss something. If you've seen the movie, you probably know what the heck I'm talking about. I think maybe I'll pin a comment in the comment section and just hide it and indicate the problem that I had with his character. But as of now, that was really the only thing. I did not really dislike this film. It wasn't very long. It was only about an hour and 35 minutes. I had been reading that there was a post-credit scene. I did not read what the post-credit scene was because I did not want to be spoiled, but I'm going to spoil it for you because it has nothing to do with the movie. Basically, like an advertisement for Perkins' next film or an upcoming film. That's all it is. So I'm a little annoyed that I stuck around through the credits for that because I have things to do. I've got something to do after filming this review. So I wasted about an extra 5 or 10 minutes of my life, but whatever, it's all good. I really don't have much more to say about The Monkey. If you guys have watched it, I'm curious to hear your takeaway from it. And at some point over the next day or so, I'm going to start checking out the reviews that my fellow YouTube buddies have made and just see if there's points that they bring up that kind of went right over my head, or if they touch on the exact same issue that I've been alluding to in this review. Anyway, I really don't have anything more to say. Sorry, that was a kind of a very convoluted movie review. I'm in a time crunch, and then I got interrupted by my son and distracted by my rant against Corey Cunningham and Halloween Ends. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up for now, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Adios.